Did you know in Canada more kids die from cancer each year than any other disease combined? That's more deaths than asthma, diabetes, cystic fibrosis, and AIDS combined. Did you know each year about 1,500 cases are diagnosed? Did you know over 10,000 kids in Canada are living with cancer or its long-term effects? My name is Casey Willett, and did you know when I was 10 years old, I was diagnosed with leukemia? Childhood leukemia is the longest going treatment of all cancers, 2.5 years for girls and 3.5 years for boys. That is ongoing active treatment in the form of daily chemo pills, along with chemo given through IV, chemo needles, and chemo injected in the spine. And let me tell you, it's no picnic. It is often the complications from treatment that will take the life of a child. About 1 in 4 children who are diagnosed with cancer will die of the disease. In my 2.5 years of treatment, I needed 39 blood transfusions, stayed countless nights in the hospital, suffered many complications. My parents almost lost me twice. I was air ambulanced once and lost my hair 3 times and missed over 2 years of school. I share all of this with you today so that you wouldn't feel sorry for me, but you'll believe me when I say that this proclamation is important because there are many other families like mine who have kids just like me, and sadly there are many others still to come. We can't travel this journey alone. It's too hard. And so I personally want to thank you for coming here today to support this proclamation and help bring awareness to childhood cancer. You can make a difference. In fact, you already are. It's simply by showing up here today. But there are other ways you can help too. I encourage you to support the organizations like the NOFCC, the Northern Ontario Families of Children with Cancer, who provide hope, support, advocacy, and education to families with children with cancer. Another organization close to my heart, which could always use your support, is the Ronald McDonald House, which is my personal home away from home. It is not the people who live in Ottawa or Toronto who need the Ronald McDonald House, but us, the ones who need to travel far to see specialized doctors not available to us in the north. Another way to help is by donating blood to the Canadian Blood Services. I am alive today because selfless people gave blood and saved my life because of it. Another way you can make a difference is by visiting bethematch.org and learn about becoming a bone marrow donor. I lost a little 6-year-old friend when I was first diagnosed. He could not find a bone marrow donor. And I have many little friends who are alive because of bone marrow transplants. And by coming today to support this proclamation, you too have already made a difference. The more awareness we bring to childhood cancer, the more funding we receive toward pediatric research for cancer. Thank you, Mayor Al McDonald, for joining us and joining other cities across the north in turning my home city, North Bay, gold in support of childhood cancer. And thank you to everyone for coming out today to support this cause, one that has changed the course of my life. Your support is needed and greatly appreciated, and it all starts with you.
That's usually the case. Unfortunately, people don't know who the NOFCC is until they've been personally stricken with cancer through childhood cancer, or there's an association through family members, right? So NOFCC helps with financial and emotional needs of families in Northern Ontario. So we provide money for every day that they spend away from home. We have tutoring services, bursaries, emergency funding. We help with calling card charges, things like that. Our main focus is just reducing the burden, especially the financial burden that occurs in families due to the large amount of traveling that they have to do. Unfortunately, the families have to travel to Ottawa, Toronto, and London for treatment because there is nowhere in the north for them to get any treatment. Sudbury does very minimal treatment there. It's really just maintenance after the child has gotten to the last stages of their treatment. So you can imagine that it's far from North Bay, but imagine being in Thunder Bay and having to travel to Ottawa 3-4 times a month, or being away in Ottawa for 2 years while maintaining a home back wherever you are in a family.
You talked about disparity in funding for research too as well, and it was a little bit astounding to hear
Yes,
that.
absolutely. The Ministry of Health only puts about 3% of all their cancer research dollars into pediatric cancer research, and it's just simply not enough. Adult cancer and child cancer are very two different things, but unfortunately children have to live much longer after their treatment. So the effects that chemo might have on an adult are much more exemplified in children because they live much longer. So, they're having heart problems, lung problems, kidney problems, neurocognitive deficits because the chemo has such an intense reaction on their body.
So you're joining together across the province to paint the province gold.
Yes.
Is this to raise awareness and help in your fundraising campaign?
Well, it's really about both. When the breast cancer campaign started, the surge in cure rate went up after everybody became aware, because with awareness comes funding, and with funding comes research, right? So really this is just an awareness campaign that we're doing. Fundraising is number one for our organization. We are not government funded, we are not hospital funded, we rely solely on donations from the community to make our programs run, and unfortunately 99% of our fundraising happens in the greater Sudbury community, and this is sort of a way of us to reach out and create a presence for the NOFCC in communities across Northern Ontario.
Sorry.
Well, when I was 10 years old, I was diagnosed with leukemia, and because I was 10 years old, I was high risk, and I started on active treatment for 2.5 years.
And how did this organization help you in any way?
It really helps me with just giving my parents money for gas and for money for food, because we'd have to spend lots of money also with just clothes, because we'd have to race to the hospital very fast, so we didn't have much time to get our clothes for the days in the week for my parents and myself.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Kate.
I was just going to say, in terms of that, you made an impassioned plea for people to support not only this organization, but Ronald McDonald House and Give Blood. Why is that?
Ronald McDonald is an awesome organization. It's a house. It really it doesn't feel like you're away from home. It feels like you're at home, because there's a kitchen ready at any time if you need to cook anything, or a laundry room to do laundry, and it's very sanitary because lots of kids will get neutropenic, which means that they won't have an immune system, so if they get a cold, it will be way worse than what the average person would get.
Faith, you know what? Everything that I ever believed that I was taught about God actually came into play, and everything that, believe it or not, the Bible says is absolutely true. And so, you know what? You can't do it alone. I don't know how people would do it alone, and that's where I draw my strength, is from above.
Was there any time during this whole ordeal that you thought you were going to lose her?
There were twice where we were told. At one point they said to us, if things don't turn around in the next 2 days, yes, she could die. And there was another time where they also they gave us another 2-day warning with a different scenario. So twice we thought we were going to lose her. Absolutely.
Has this organization helped?
The NOFCC is incredible because they give directly to the families. It's made up of other parents who have actually gone through it, so they know what we need before we even need it. It's amazing, it's incredible. And so when you donate to them, they reach the families directly.